bringing together powerful voices, climate activists, sustainability leaders and key policymakers. The Times Network India Climate Summit united to shape an actionable agenda for a climate-resilient India. With a clear directive for impactful climate action for the next decade, the summit championed dialogue and discussion on fostering a resilient India through energy, action and sustainability at the centre. Across every session, distinguished experts and change makers shared insights, solutions and strategies, championing awareness and protecting the future of our planet. Together, the agenda for a sustainable tomorrow was set down for the next decade. In this episode, joining us was Karuna Singh of Earth Day Network, Dr. Harshal Ramesh Salve from AIIMS and Dr. Mrutyunjay Mohapatra of IMD discussed resilience strategies for India's rising heat waves with Hina Gambhir.
So ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about heat wave because it is a reality. Heat waves are becoming more intense as well as deadly. I want to begin by asking you, in fact, each one of you, I want to ask each one of you, if, in perhaps a sentence, if you could tell me and tell our audience, the biggest heat-related risk that India is facing today. Let's start with you, ma'am.
It's to the health of all living things and to the planet.
Okay, it's about our health. Dr. Mohapatra?
Yeah, heat kills and it causes the diseases. So therefore, it is very much essential to monitor the heat and take the adapting and mitigating measures to keep ourselves safe and healthy.
Okay. Dr. Salve?
I will describe the impact of heat as a tip of the iceberg. We only know the tip. We don't know what is beneath the waterline, and that's our aim to know about it more. Thank you.
So if it's just the tip of the iceberg, then definitely it needs a discussion. It needs an understanding also, and also, like you said, heat kills. So we need to find out what should really be done. And Dr. Mohapatra, like I said, heat waves are becoming more intense as well as deadly. It wasn't really the case, say, a decade ago or maybe 2-3 decades ago. But today, almost on a daily basis, at least in the summer season in the northwestern part of India, we're talking about extreme heat wave conditions that are likely to prevail. If you could tell us a little bit about how the frequency and the intensity of heat waves has really changed, say, in the last decade, and why is it happening?
So India Meteorological Department, being the nodal agency for the country, maintains the record of temperature. And we've got the record of temperature in digital format since 1901. It shows that there is an increasing trend in the temperature, both the day temperature and the night temperature. And especially since 1970 onwards, if you'll find that there is a rapid increase in temperature. And considering the past 2 decades, there is again accelerated increase in the rise in temperature. As a result, there is increased frequency of the heat waves, increased duration of the heat waves, increased intensity of the heat wave in the heat-prone areas, that is mainly the northern India and central India. Not only that, the area which was earlier prone to heat wave, that has expanded. Even in South India, up to Tamil Nadu, up to Kerala also, nowadays, we experience the heat wave conditions. We have pumped in the various greenhouse gases which are helping to increase the temperature of the surface of the earth. These greenhouse gases are mainly the carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and many other originating from different sources like, say, industries, the transport, the human being itself, the population is also increasing, and also at the same time, there is deforestation because of the human greed. We are also exploiting the natural resources. So as a result, it is not simply limited to the rise in temperature or the heat wave conditions, but this is affecting the various types of extreme weather events.
That is definitely a cause of concern. Ms. Singh, if you could, also tell us a little bit about what could be the reason behind it, this sudden change in weather. I mean, we all talk about climate change, etc., but that's like a very heavy word. But why heat wave?
I think a lot of it is due to anthropogenic activities that are happening. And those are happening because we are not making our people aware of how these anthropogenic activities are causing global warming and the resultant climate change and the heat waves that are happening. Human beings are not suicidal by nature. They're survivalists. So why is it that we are not doing something to reduce the global warming? I think it is because awareness is not being given at the school level, beginning with the school level. We have to make our children aware that their habits, their activities are leading to global warming. We don't have the elasticity of time to wait till they become adults and then become stewards for the environment. So this, I think, lack of awareness, lack of education, not mandating climate education at the school level is one of the major causes why we are continuing to see these heat conditions that are coming about.
When you say that, these are some of the activities, at a young age that are leading to the situation that we are seeing right now, if you could just describe maybe a few of those activities for our audience here, for our viewers.
Simple things like switching off the lights. Unless a child understands that switching off that light when you don't need it is going to cause extra heat, they won't do it. They have to understand that. We have to understand the benefits of increasing the green canopy. Children must understand it. Schools are now encouraging children to plant trees, look after them, plant them on your birthdays, let them grow as you grow. These are activities, simple things that should be inculcated in our young citizens at a very young age.
Okay, interesting. Dr. Salve, now, what are some of the most pressing health challenges or impacts, really, rather, of extreme heat or heat wave conditions that people face?
What we see in the news reports regarding deaths due to the heat wave most of the time, strokes happening due to the heat wave most of the time. So this is, we are talking about tip of the iceberg. The major burden in terms of the cost, in terms of the morbidity, what we call in the health term, lies beneath the water table, which is largely unknown. These are what? These are heart failure. These are what? These are arrhythmias. These are what? These are hypertensions, right? This is a cardiovascular. The heart and its related system get impacted due to the heat. And it has two dimensions. One is the acute exposure of heat. If there is a higher temperature, you are exposed to it acutely for short duration, you will have the acute symptom. But if you are exposed to the heat for a longer duration, for the chronic period, then the chances of having chronic diseases, chronic impacts are more. It can be due to the heat, the allergens in the environment also get activated. So the people having asthma, COPD, the exacerbation chances are also there. So both cardiovascular-related issues and respiratory-related issues are linked with the heat. And most important and tricky part, and I think where the role of Times Network and the communication people comes in is, these impacts are not visible. So it is very difficult to convince both policymakers as well as the common public to take actions against it, to take remedial measures. So it is the job of communication experts and the media to generate awareness regarding this chronic impact, the impacts which are not visible, which are not acutely visible, which are not instantly visible, right? This is the most important thing we need to do.
Dr. Mohapatra, similarly, do we have a robust system in place or some kind of an early warning system to be able to tell or predict heat wave conditions, for how many days are they going to be present, which all regions, etc.? Like we have accurate forecast mechanism for cyclones, do we have it for heat waves?
Yes. The heat wave prediction system or early warning system is in place, but it is not like cyclones. While cyclone is a rapid development within 5 or 7 days, it is being predicted. The heat wave is a slowly evolving system. So therefore, it is very much essential to monitor the temperature on daily basis and predict. And as and when it exceeds the thresholds, which can be harmful or fatal to the human being or our livestock or our livelihood, like agriculture, water resources, horticulture, or power sector, or our transport sector, then we issue the heat wave warning. The heat wave warning, as Dr. Saab was telling, consists of the various factors which can have impact on the human health and life, and of course, our environment. The first and foremost is the day temperature. When day temperature exceeds by about 5 degrees Celsius from the normal temperature, we declare heat wave and we expect such type of situation, we predict that. But night temperature, as is told earlier, it becomes more dangerous if it is higher than the normal. So whenever night temperature is 5 degrees higher than normal and when day temperature is also high, we also give warning for warm night conditions. Third factor is that because of this global warming, the temperature is rising. For every 1 degree rise in temperature, there is 7% increase in relative humidity. So therefore, the atmosphere has now the higher capacity to hold the moisture. So whenever there is increased temperature, heat wave conditions, especially in the coastal areas, you have got enough humidity, therefore it becomes unbearable. It becomes more disastrous. So considering this, we have introduced in last 3 years the humidity forecast, and we have enabled one index called temperature humidity index, which takes into consideration the heat stress, or you can say discomfort index. Then next one, to improve the information for the public about how severe will be the heat wave conditions, we give the percentile, like 99th percentile, 98th percentile, or 95th percentile of temperature. Whether tomorrow the temperature will exceed 95th percentile, then people will understand that this is going to be one of the worst heat wave conditions. Apart from that, in northwest India, there will be wind conditions. If it is a dry northwesterly wind coming from, say, Punjab or from Pakistan towards Delhi or towards Madhya Pradesh, it becomes more disastrous. So therefore, we also improve our forecast. Every day we issue for next 7 days forecast, all these parameters. We give indication whether it is going to be a low condition in northwest India, or similarly, whether the land breeze will be severe and sea breeze will be weaker in the coastal areas. Sea breeze brings colder air and heat wave gets mitigated. If there is weaker sea breeze, then heat wave condition continues. Last point, what we do actually, we provide the persistence. How many days heat wave conditions are continuing? Because human body can adjust for 1 day or 2 days. If it is continuing for 3 or 4 days, then human body fails to adjust itself. So therefore, the persistence is also taken into consideration, and future also, if it is persistently going to occur, accordingly we give. So considering all these 7 parameters, we have developed an index, composite index, to evaluate the impact of the heat wave expected for the next 5 to 7 days. It is provided at the city level. It is provided at the district level. It goes to all the agencies, starting with Minister of Labor to Minister of School Education, disaster managers, etc. Also, I'll give an example. In Delhi, it goes to Rickshawala Association. It goes to Street Vendors Association, as they requested us, and also we contacted, and it's going to. And apart from that, whenever there is heat wave condition, the common alerting protocol introduced by Government of India, that is utilized, and whether it is smartphone or not smartphone, the information goes to each individual. For the area where IMD provides the warning, if you have got a phone, you will get a message in local language. Further, what we have done actually, we are giving now the impact-based forecast in color-coded format. It is green, yellow, orange, red, indicating the severity and also the actions required for that. So damage expected, say for example, standing crops, damage expected towards the animals, damage expected to the human health also taken into consideration. Last point, what Dr. Saab told, when the heat wave condition is there, the lower tropospheric ozone concentration increases. So therefore, those who have got chronic breathing problems or health-related issues, they can have the problem further severity. So therefore, we also give indication about the condition of the air quality and also the condition of the ozone in the lower troposphere. So all these informations are round the clock provided to the people, And at the same time, some kind of asymmetry also, awareness campaigns are also carried out so that people can take actions when there is a heat wave conditions.
Okay, so data is being provided. We know it's a problem, but are we even taking it seriously?
We have to take it seriously because it's affecting us. But the real problem, if I might add, is that humans think that they have mastery over nature. Our ancestors lived in harmony with nature, and so everything was all right. Today we think that if it gets hotter, we'll just add another air conditioner. But look at the olden times. What did they do? What did Red Fort do, which is now being followed by Terry in their Gwal Pahari, hostile conditions? The underground subterranean air quality, air temperatures are between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius in Delhi, even when Delhi is 53 degrees Celsius. So they had channels to bring this up. That is how they did it. We have to go back to these things. There's the albedo effect, where you paint your roofs white, and that reflects the sun's rays back from there. So in the olden days, all our houses had white chuna on them for this reason. Now we have the modern paints that have a lot of plastic in it also, so it just absorbs everything. There's a mosque on the coast of Karnataka, the Badri Mosque. What have they done? They have increased their minaret to 70 feet. At 70 feet, the cool air is being brought down to the prayer halls and cooling them. So we have to go back to these conditions, and people are going back to these conditions. We cannot keep adding glass houses and living in them. That will just keep increasing the heat. As the question was asked earlier, are our air conditioners going to be reduced to 24 degrees minimum, or are we going to continue to put them at 18 and 20 and just keep adding more of them? The Siddhivinayak temple has done that. They have painted their roof white, and they've got the cool roof.
In fact, some reports also suggest that if you paint the roof white, then your temperature can come down by about 2 to 5 degrees.
Absolutely. It's called the albedo effect. And so this is science matched with practical elements.
So we know what the problem is. We have the solutions as well. It's only about implementation now. Dr. Salve, I want to ask you, I was looking at some data. Between 2000 and 2020, as per NCRB, 20,615 heat stroke deaths were reported in India. And some reports suggest that over 50% of heat wave deaths could actually be prevented with timely attention as well as awareness. You're getting the information there from the Indian Meteorological Department to all the people who need it. Where is the gap there, and what should be now done? Let's talk about solutions.
Yeah, thank you. And solutions are what we should seek for. We know the problem. The important thing about any environmental exposure, be it heat or air pollution, as we are here in Delhi, what is required is, first and foremost step is acknowledging the problem. We as a country has acknowledged the problem, be it heat or air pollution. As a response, of course, the Ministry of Environment, IMD, has done excellent work in giving us projections, alerts for disaster, including heat. Health Department has launched its flagship program called National Program on Human Health and Climate Change. This program is centrally sort of coordinated by National Center for Disease Control in Delhi. And in last 5-6 years, they have made good inroads in terms of developing capacity of the healthcare providers in tackling the health emergency related to the air pollution, heat, and other climate-related drivers. Second, we have also implemented the heat adaptation plan, if we talk about heat specific. What heat adaptation plan means at district level, at state level, what are the actions to be carried out by the health department, what are the actions to be carried out in coordination with the other departments. This is the most important thing. And what are the advocacy and communication related things needs to be carried out at district and state level? Very systematic health adaptation plan has been envisaged and being implemented at district and state level across the country. Second thing regarding data. The data which you have quoted is 80% underestimates. So this number carries no value as such. NCRB data is underestimated most of the time. It is self-reported. As I said, we really need to work, invest, and develop a data for chronic diseases which are impacted by the heat. Symptoms, morbidities, school absenteeism, all these things, other chronic morbidities. So that will give you the quantum of the problem. So investing into the research, data, creating a data repository. As IMD has excellent data repository, on the contrary, health need to develop that kind of data repository so that we can have correlation related studies and that can be used for actions at state level, block level, as well as at the country level. So creating data repositories, investing into health, and third, most difficult part is interdepartmental convergence. You know, we are best in when we work in our department in silos. But when it comes to coordinating with the other department, the IMD, communication, media, health department, education department, we lag behind. So as we need a coordinated effort at the state level. Why I'm saying state level? Because health is a state subject, though supported by the center. So state level actions, what we are envisaged and required from state, district, and block and village level. And third point, which I think got missed, is urban heat island effect. As we are developing fastly, the urban population now, hopefully in the next census, will touch 40–45%. So because of the lot of construction, the urban heat island impact cannot be ignored. The people staying near the road, they have a higher temperature, they are exposed to the higher temperature, those people who are not staying across, away from the road. So we really need to tackle this urban heat island by increasing our green cover, increasing the green space. So it's much coordinated efforts which are required. Thank you.
Ms. Singh, one actionable step that you will like to recommend for the government policymakers?
I think the policymakers must see that the green cover in cities in particular is increased. If land is not available, then at least terraces, balconies, there also we should increase the green cover. So you just wanted one, so I'll give you one. And if I might give you a suggestion that you have a very strong role to play. The climate clock is telling us that there is just 4 years and 25 days left before we are predicted to tip over that point of no return. And so I fully endorse what Dr. Salve is saying, that communicators have a very, very strong role to play.
Fantastic. We'll leave it there, but thank you very much, all of you, Dr. Mohapatra, Ms. Karuna Singh, Dr. Salve. Thank you very much for joining us.